What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is episode 45 of the Viewer Comment Series. The series where you guys, the viewers, send in your comments and questions, and they do get answered live on the show. Very newsy week in terms of USC and the transfer portal and all that, so I'm not going to waste any more time. If you guys are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really appreciate you guys being here. Now let's get into it. First up from Eric, he says, will we now go look for a quarterback in the transfer portal? And this is, of course, in reference to Longstreet officially entering. And the writing was on the wall with that. I did a video about it. I think it's a terrible decision for him. Quarterbacks who say no to Lincoln Riley, who get chosen by Lincoln Riley, they have an extremely similar hit rate, pretty much zero. Whether you're talking about DJ Lagway, Dylan Raiola, Malachi Nelson, it's not pretty. So Longstreet is likely making a huge mistake. I hope not for his sake. I hope he has a great career. But at the end of the day, it is his call. But all we can do at SC is move forward. And in terms of the QB room next year, now I do not know if this is true, but a few people I trust have been saying that Sam Heward is going to get an extra year of eligibility. So if that were the case, that would be a massive deal because then your QB room is just set. You have Jade Maiava, Jonas Williams, and Sam Heward. So I don't think we're going to go actively look for a QB in the portal if Sam is for sure staying. Now, if that situation changes, then we have to. You can't go into a season with 2 scholarship quarterbacks. But the staff clearly has trust in Sam Heward. Second year in the offense, if he has to come in and do a job, maybe he could. And financially, it's for sure the smartest choice, as going in and getting someone else from the portal would be more expensive. So if you were expecting Jade Maiava to run a lot next season, scratch that. Lincoln's going to have him in bubble wrap trying to keep him healthy, having a true freshman and Sam Heward as the 2 backups. But yeah, that is the situation at QB. Next up from Compton Alex, he says, it looks like USC is doing the same with this transfer portal as they did last year. Have they not learned that this is not enough? I'm starting to think we are not a serious program. So there's a harsh reality with USC football right now. If this makes any of you upset, I apologize, but it is the truth. This is not a team trying to win a national title in 2026. That's the truth. This is a team that's building for national titles in 27 and 28. But the roster as it's currently constructed, unless USC has the best freshman class of all time, and they're all instant impact guys and they're high-end players, we're not winning a national title. Honestly, it's going to be a challenge to even make the playoff. This team's going to be so young. There's a lack of true difference makers on the defensive side of the ball. And on the offensive side, with the wideouts, with the tight ends, it's all projection. That's all it is. So we're not going to know anything. But if you're looking at the roster objectively and analytically, this is not a playoff or championship roster. That doesn't mean we can't make the playoff, but when you go up and down the 2 deep, probably not good enough with the schedule in the Big Ten next year. Now, where does that leave Lincoln Riley? Man, all I'm going to say is Lincoln Riley might not have time, but Chad Bowden sure does. Chad's not going to get fired if we miss the playoffs this next year. When you look at the kids we have coming in this freshman class, in 2 to 3 years, you could see them being absolute monsters and looking like a Miami or an Indiana or a team like that. But coming in as freshmen, that's not going to be the case. You're going to have those standout guys like Luke Wafel, Mark Bowman, Elbert Hill. You're going to have some freshmen that contribute. But guys, there's a reason when you look across college football and you watch Miami, they have Tony, who's a true freshman and is playing great ball, but it's not across their entire team. Indiana is extremely veteran-laden. Teams don't win with a bunch of freshmen playing. That's just not what happens in college football. So if you're blindly just expecting to make the playoffs and you think we're going to be a national title contender, all the power to you. I wish I shared your optimism. But what's happening at USC right now, in my opinion, is not for 2026. It's for 2027 and beyond. Is Lincoln going to be afforded the time to ride this rebuild out? I have no idea. But when you look at the portal additions we've made, they're all solid players, and that's the full extent of it. Nothing game-changing, nothing flashy, no star power. Just pretty good football players. And if you look at what we did in the portal last year, Bishop Fitzgerald was a big-time hit. Wayman Jordan was a dude. I think we're actually going to get less impact guys out of this year's class. I think they're just going to be some solid guys that fill in spots for us. And anyone expecting more from the transfer portal, what I've heard starting even a few weeks ago is that this is going to be a pretty small class. There's not that many spots to go around. The vast majority of the money was spent for the recruiting class and in roster retention. I mean, some of the numbers that the guys returning to the roster are going for are just astronomical. So yeah, to go back to the original question, I don't think that it's that they haven't learned that it's not enough. I just don't think they're actively all in on a national title in 2026. Their actions are showing us that. This is a long-term build regardless of who the head coach is. Next up from Ryan Gandy, he says, what are your thoughts on the DC dilemma? Personally, I think we should get the best person available, and if some players leave, we have to accept that. So there's two sides to it. There's what I think and what I want. What I want, 100%, is the best DC available. That's Pete Kwiatkowski. At least it appears to be. We don't know who the actual candidate pool is. But on paper, it's Coach Pete. He's not coming, right? If we're not hiring the best coach available because we're afraid of losing a few players, then we're not a serious program. If the goal is to build for the future and you think that Coach Henne can be a great DC down the road, then maybe that's the move. You let him learn in 2026. You probably think we're not going to be winning a national title anyway. Let him learn on the job. Let him get that experience so that in 2027, we can hit the ground running with more talent, with a more experienced Coach Henne, learning what to and to not do. Now, that isn't what I would want. I'd want to hire someone proven, someone that can really develop the entire defense, not just one position group, a guy that's been there, done that at a big program, played in big games, or coached in big games, I should say. So that's what I want. And this is just a gut feeling, but I think we're all going to be very underwhelmed when the hire is actually announced. Some of the names that have been rumored to have interviewed, it's just, not very confidence inspiring. So we'll see. I wish I had better news, or I guess better hopes for the hire. Hopefully they stun all of us and they hire someone awesome, but I'll believe that when I see it personally. Next up from Joe, he says, assuming that Jade Mayava does not win the Heisman or finish the season as a finalist, do you think he could still go on to be remembered among other non-Heisman Trojan greats? Todd Marinovich, Rodney Peete, Mark Sanchez, and if so, what would he have to accomplish this season? This is a really interesting and fascinating question. I think if Jade Mayava is the first USC QB to lead the team to a college football playoff, he will be remembered amongst those guys. No quarterback has done that. Not Sam Darnold, not Caleb Williams. Of course, it was a 4-team playoff. Very different scenario. A little unfair to those guys. But still, being the first QB to take the field in a playoff game for USC would cement him among those people, assuming he's having a fairly decent season, of course. Next up from Jacob, he says, what teams draft Lemon and Lane? Mekhi Lemon to my Cleveland Browns, and Jacoby Lane has some serious Dallas Cowboy energy, so could for sure see that. Next up from Jay-Z, he says, you think Brett Kolejay would make a good center? I do. Brett Kolejay, who's coming into this class as a true freshman, when I was at the Michigan game, I actually saw him, and good grief, is that a large human being. And there's been a big shift the last, 3 to 4 years in the NFL. If you look at average center size, it used to be believed that you want a shorter center, low center of gravity, easier for the quarterback to see over top of them. But there's been a shift. Teams are transitioning to these very athletic, taller centers. And he's a pretty tall kid, man. What is he, 6'6"? But I think he could make a fantastic center. He's got the brain for it. He's got the feet for it. And he's got a phenomenal coach in Coach Hansen that can get him ready to play any spot. And something I've been told, that out of all of the freshman offensive linemen, the one that's going to play most likely as a true freshman is Brett Kolejay. Know that name. Circle that name. This kid is going to be a difference maker quickly for your Trojans. Love everything about him. He could play center. He could play guard. Monster inside the trenches, and he's going to be a stud for a long time, man. Next up from Joshua, your opinion on the Damon Williams UW controversy. Nobody cared when Oregon did the same thing to us last year with E-Man. No, they did not. And if Chad Bowden was here at the time, Emmanuel Pregnon is not an Oregon Duck. Plain and simple. One of the many failures with Lincoln Riley and personnel over the last 5 years. But my opinion on it, Damon got dropped by his agent. The kid's a punk, any way you want to spin it. Selfish, entitled, very little integrity. And while I'm glad that the contract is being enforced and he has to come back, at the same time, if I'm Washington, that kid is not stepping foot in my facility again. Nothing is bigger than the team. And that kid not only burned bridges on his way out, he nuked them. I wouldn't want a person like that, not only on my team, but leading the program as the quarterback, being the face of the entire Washington Husky football enterprise. No way in hell does that kid ever put on my uniform again if I'm Jedd Fisch. If you and your wife are out at a club and she's over with some guy, and not only is she flirting and doing a bunch of other shady stuff, she decides to leave you. She leaves with a dude. And then only because you remind her, but honey, the marriage contract, the finances, the kids, you can't leave us. And then you take her back. That's on you, dude. That's all I got to say on that. Exact same energy that Jedd Fisch and Washington are giving with this. I think it's weak. I think it's pathetic. And they both deserve each other is all I'm going to say. Next up from Harlow Sharp, and thank you for being a member as always. He says, what about Pete Carroll as our new DC? He loves USC. He obviously wants to see USC return to dominance, and he would be a great mentor to Lincoln Riley and his staff. So as much as I appreciate your membership, I unfortunately have to dissect this comment and kind of tear it apart, man. I'm sorry. I love you. You know I do. And guys, this is blasphemy. I know it is. So plug your ears if you can't handle it, but Pete Carroll is cooked. He just is. In Seattle, in Vegas, he's been an unmitigated disaster his last 2 times coaching. He doesn't have it anymore. The dude is 100% cooked. Secondly, he hasn't called a college defense since the 80s or early 90s. I forget how long it's been, but it's been a long ass time. Secondly, in what world would any coach hire a coordinator with the presence and otherworldly energy, I guess, of a guy like Pete Carroll to be a coordinator on a staff where he's bigger and more well-known than you? Like, would Kalen DeBoer ever hire Nick Saban as a DC at Bama? No, right? That's just not how this stuff works. It'll never happen. It can't happen. It would be a disaster. Now, Pete being a mentor to Lincoln is a different conversation. That I agree with. Pete Carroll in a strictly advisory role, bringing that energy, bringing that experience to the staff, being there to answer questions. I love that. I think that's necessary. But in terms of being a coordinator or being an actual on-the-field coach, that's not something serious programs do. That's not something any program does, to be honest. Would Sark bring Mac Brown back as a coordinator at Texas? Would Brent Venables bring Bob Stoops back as a coordinator at OU? Stuff like that doesn't happen. But appreciate you being a member, man. I really do. Next up from B Figs, he says, are there any under-the-radar players that no one's really talking about that you think will make a huge impact next season? So I'm not sure about next season, but in case you guys are on Instagram or Twitter, I have chosen my next hashtag so-and-so player is elite player. And man, I've gotten a lot of stick from you guys about this, saying that this dude's jinxed now and he has no chance to ever be good because I did this. Man, have some damn faith. Anyways, Taylor Johnson, the 3-star linebacker from Cajon, San Bernardino, shout out to the IE. That kid's a heat-seeking missile at the linebacker spot. I don't think it'll be this year, but he's a name to know going forward. He has the mindset, he has the physicality, he has the speed, and man, he just plays with reckless abandon on the football field. I love watching this kid. There's something different about kids from the Inland Empire, man. We just play a different style of ball than all of you LA folks. See Christian Pierce, see Sua Cravens, and that legacy will continue on with Taylor Johnson. Next up from Kai Trojan, he says, how do you handle the hate you get? I've wanted to start a channel for a long time, but don't know if the negativity is worth it. Fight on, Gabe, and thank you for all you do. Man, thank you for tuning in and watching. Appreciate you. Very interesting question. So at first, like the first, I don't know, year of me doing this when I started to grow, the hate would really get to me. It would keep me up at night. I'd want to please everybody. And then as you continue to go on, you just don't care. Because you go through the comments on my videos. Let's say I get 200 comments. If there's 100 of those that are positive or negative towards me in nature, 95 of them are going to be positive and 5 are going to be hater comments. So why in the world would I focus on the 5 negative when there's so much positivity around it? Being on the internet in 2025 comes with hate. I've gotten death threats. I've been doxxed. People are crazy. That's just the world we live in. So if you have true aspirations of being a bigger channel and having a lot of viewers and a lot of comments, that's just going to come with it. There's an ugly side to this social media thing. And when you do it every day and when you do it as your job, it's going to be around you. It just is. That's something you have to sign off on. But what I tell you is no matter the amount of hate you get, the crazy comments, the crazy DMs, I wouldn't change a thing. Because I think you have to have those negative, nasty, ugly people for you to truly appreciate how great the vast majority of the community truly is. If every conversation is sunshine and rainbows, it's just not going to have the same effect. So how do I handle the hate? I laugh at it. I really do. And at the end of the day, whether it's hate or positivity, it's all engagement. So it all helps. Appreciate that question, Kai. Next up from Bob, he says, are you satisfied with the quality of players we are getting in the portal? What more do you think we need from the portal? Man, what do we need? We need a lot. We're not going to be getting very much, though. Maybe 1 or 2 more players. What do I want? I want a center field free safety. I want another tight end. I want an experienced swing tackle. I mean, I would like a high-end, proven number 1 receiver, but that's completely out of the realm of possibility just with the money we have available. And in terms of being satisfied with the quality, yeah, they're solid. Again, nothing game-changing, nothing flashy, just some pretty good football players. If we can coach and develop better in 2026, which I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Lincoln Riley's still the coach. I think we're just going to see what we've been seeing. People expecting some massive leap when he's been who he's been for a very long time. I just don't see it. But yeah, the quality's fine. I'm pleased with it overall. And lastly, from Fight On Oos, he says, going to miss your old IG style, but love the new look, and the random face reveal is very on brand for you. Happy New Year, and God bless, brother. God bless you too. Hope you and your family are doing well in this new year. But yeah, I did do a random face reveal over on social media. Was planning it for a few weeks. And as I was editing all the stuff, Joey Olsen entered the portal as I was doing it. So then when I went through with the rebrand, everybody was saying that was because of Joey Olsen, which I thought was hilarious. And yeah, I appreciate the comment about my Instagram as well. Had a style I was doing previously for my posts, and it was doing very well with performance and likes and all that stuff, but I just wasn't enjoying it. It wasn't me. And Instagram doesn't really earn me any money anyways. And I just really wanted it to be another platform for me to be creative, try to be a little more artistic, and just make it more of an art project than anything else. But yeah, I appreciate you, man. And that is going to do it for Viewer Comments episode 45. If you guys did happen to enjoy this episode, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Really appreciate you guys being here. You're all awesome. And as always, take care and fight on.